or whatever you're doing. Julie Riga is in the house. This is a day to celebrate, right?
It's been 1 year of the Stay on Course podcast, and I just wanted to come on here and say hey to everybody and just kind of let everyone know that, hey guys, I have a podcast. I don't know if a lot of people are listening, Julie.
A lot of people are listening, especially to you.
I mean, sometimes they're listening, but what I'm hearing from people is I don't have time to listen. So I'm hoping that today will encourage someone.
15 minutes, right? 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're only 15 minutes. And, we've been doing this for a year. And part of the reason we're getting on today is that we are talking about the 7-year anniversary of my dad's passing. And we had developed this podcast around his life, his legacy, and the theme of the book that he really wanted to write his whole entire life. So, right before he died, he left me this gem.
He left you homework is what he did.
I mean, I was like, Dad, when people die, most people get left like an inheritance. They get money, they get a car. They go on vacation, something. And my dad says to me, I'm leaving you my book to finish, Julie. And honestly, it was a heavy moment. And I was like, Dad, come on, you did not do this. So it felt very heavy. And then, the day after he passed, I immediately rallied my thoughts, the troops, and started on the journey to develop this man's biography. And now the biography is a book, but now the legacy lives on with the podcast, Jules. And we met, over a year ago?
It seems like just yesterday, but it's been a long time. When I'm saying this, guys, this girl, she's amazing, but she Julie Riga's a lot. She can be a lot.
Thanks, Jules. Thanks.
But I mean, lot in a good way,
in a good now it's in a good way. Thank you.
Oh, it is a good way. Of course, it's a good way because you're amazing. And I mean, what I love about you, and I'm being serious. Like Julie Riga is just so robust and full of life, and she has ideas, and she never says no to anything. So I'm just so proud that she has been doing this amazing podcast called Stay on Course. And also she wrote the book, and also she's a TEDx speaker, and also she's a coach and consultant, and also she's an executive. So I don't know how and she's a mom and a wife, by the way, but rolling all these things into your everyday life, it's hard. It is hard to, like, for me to fathom. And when if I say you're a bit extra, that is a compliment. You are extra in everything. And I want to be you when I grow up, even though I'm older than you.
I know you are older than me, and by, a pretty substantial amount of months.
Yeah. This is our year, girl. So, I mean, I want to encourage everybody to write questions, thoughts. If you have any questions about podcasting or Julie's father, Ennio Riga, who was the chef to the stars, or, if you're questioning, you want to speak on stages like TEDx, like this is the time to ask Julie Riga. We are so fortunate to have her here to answer those questions.
Thank you, Julie. And we did a session the other night where we answered all things podcasting, and that was really good. We did a meetup.
That was fun. Don't forget about meetups, guys, right? People forget about those.
We were doing meetups. I'm doing a lot of live streams this year. This is what I decided to do. I'm going to be live on so many different platforms to kind of get the message out that staying on course is super important for your life. It's doable. And it's really about purpose, right? Staying on course is really about purpose and following your purpose and getting to the place in your life where you come clean. You come clean with out that staying on course is super important for your life. It's doable. And do you hear that, Julie? We're lagging.
Well, let me just tell you, because I'm seeing there are people here that are asking you questions. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I have Gary Hall. He said reading his bio is amazing. He was awesome. Connor Teig here, two of the best people around. Thanks, Connor. Jason Peatfish, he said, my question is, what Italian dish would you recommend for dinner tonight? Alexander says hi. Eric says hi. So we have a lot of fun people here right now.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So what I want to do, I want to answer those questions, but first,
Gary.
how do I turn my podcast into a TEDx? Should we answer the questions or should we play the
Gary,
commercial?
let's answer questions. We got to talk. We'll play that at the end. We got to talk.
All right. So how do I turn my podcast into a TEDx? That's interesting. So Gary Hall, my suggestion for that
National Security Advisor of the President and retired admiral, by the way. He may be our biggest fan and only fan. Just kidding. Hi, Gary.
Apparently we have just a couple fans here, but Gary, did you know that Gary Hall was on my podcast? And you guys can go to.
He was on mine too. Shut the front door. So
Gary Hall, stayoncourse.studio. Check out the podcast. I don't know if we could put the link to that specific one in the notes, but
if you guys want the links, we'll do it in the afterwards in the LinkedIn. You know, we can put. Oh,
yeah. So what I want to say is, I just want to say something really quickly about. Hey, Jess.
We got a party here.
Jess is live. All right. So Gary Hall, how do I turn my podcast into a TEDx? The answer to this question is find your gift. What is the gift you want to give to your audience? That gift becomes your podcast, becomes your TEDx, but get very clear on that gift. And what I tell people is pretend you have 12 minutes left of your life. What is that message you want to tell the world? What is that message you want to share if you had one day to live? 10 minutes left of your life, that becomes your TEDx, at least your first one. That's what I believe. And that's the way I looked at the TEDx that I did. I wanted to give the message of my lifetime, just in case I never was on the TEDx stage again. You know, I hope to be on the TEDx stage again. I hope to do many, many talks, but I took it at that level. Like, what is that thing that you want to tell people? What is that message?
That's awesome. Great question. And I feel like I could answer that for Gary E. Hall and just I want everyone to ask questions. And I think we're going to have a really robust conversation. But, you know, Gary, I feel like he should talk about the pact with leadership. But that's just a teaser because his book is coming out very shortly, just teasing it. Okay, let's see if we have another. We have another little question. And then Jason Peatfish.
Jason. Oh, what Italian dish would you recommend for my dinner tonight? I don't know if you want to go Ennio style, I guess I would just say pasta with meatballs.
Pasta with meatballs. The more simple, robust foods, not like
right?
Parmigiana or a lasagna or ravioli.
I would just go with a good old meatball, like a Jersey meatball.
Yeah, you're a Jersey meatball. I like that.
All right. You know what I wanted to do? Since this is a celebration of my podcast, I wanted to just do a little throwback. Hi, Alexander. Good to see you. What I want to do is a little throwback of the podcast and a couple clips. So I'll play the commercial so people can see a little bit more about the podcast, because there's a lot of people that are not listening to the podcast. And I've designed the podcast in such a way that it gives you value if you're an entrepreneur or a corporate executive. I'm giving nuggets of information. And, you know, Julie, Jess, you guys have seen the podcast, listened to the podcast. What do you think? What is your favorite episode, or what is your biggest takeaway from listening to the podcast?
You had a lot of great episodes. I mean, I'm not going to say my episode was great because it wasn't great, but it's because of your guest. You know, I would say, of course, Gary Hall was one of my favorites for sure. Gary Hall, James Orsini, Evan Carmichael come to mind first. And Rod Desch, too. Can't forget Rod Desch. He was your inaugural guest.
Yes, he was. Yes. Jess, what were you going to say?
Oh, my favorite was Evan Carmichael, and I'm sure you understand why. Being a perfectionist, stick that, you know what, in the eye of perfection. So yes, that was probably one of my favorites.
That's great. I love that episode. And guess what, guys? I'm going to play a clip from that episode right now. How would you like that?
I would love that.
Okay, here we go. Yay! Evan Carmichael!
We're here. This is it. Let's go, Julie.
All right. Well, welcome to the Stay on Course podcast.
The starting point for everything is belief. If you believe in your ability to the next thing, then you don't have to have the skills yet. You can develop those. You can work on them to get the skills to get you there. But the belief that it's possible, the belief that you can be great at something, I think is critical.
I love that. And that fuels everything that we do is how we believe in ourselves. What I want to know, though, is if you don't have that ability, gift right now, what can you do to help move the needle forward?
Well, you could start with the Stay on Course podcast. There's a lot of content there you can go and learn from. You know, Julie's going to share her thoughts and bring on great guests, and you'll learn from it. But environment, like the answer is environment. You know, your environment right now has been perfectly designed to keep you where you are. And we don't have people in our environments who push us forward in a loving way. People have opinions on what we should do with our lives, but no, who's pushing us forward in a loving way? And chances are, if you're listening to Julie and you're part of this community, you probably are the most optimistic person in your circle. You're probably the one pouring hope and love and care and kindness into other people. And that's great. And don't stop doing that. But who's doing that for you? Who's pouring love and kindness and optimism and hope and belief into you? And for too many people, there's nobody. Like the answer is, I don't have anybody who does that. And so, okay, well, that's a problem that we need to fix. But before getting even real humans, like that you can go and have coffee with, you can learn from aspirational humans, like people who you may never meet, but you can learn from their content.
Wow.
There you have it.
That was great.
Evan Carmichael.
So, I mean, the fact that you got someone, first of all, of course, Gary Hall, we're not going to, because he's listening, but how do you get these guests of stature on your podcast, like Gary and Evan and James and Julie Loken?
I mean, you're going to find this to be a little interesting, but I ask them.
And they say yes.
And they say yes. And that's the funnest part of the whole thing is that they are saying yes to me because I think it's because of the content, how I set up the podcast and all of that stuff. I have been really working towards getting the messaging right and the look and feel right and the content right. So people are saying yes. And I'm waiting on a couple big names to get back to me on dates. But I did ask Marshall Goldsmith, and maybe he'll hear this. Marshall Goldsmith. He is trying to say yes to me. He's trying to find a date. And Delatoro McNeil, who is a very famous speaker, I'm trying to get him on the show as well. And, a lot of people are contacting me who just want to be on the show. So doing that as well.
And Julie, I just want to know, okay, so you've been podcasting for 1 year continuously. How has it changed your life personally and professionally?
Well, it certainly has given me a platform to speak and to share knowledge with people. And so the best part is I'm sharing knowledge with the audience, but the guests are sharing knowledge with me. And so I end up learning from every single person that comes to the show, and they say something and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm literally typing notes as I'm speaking to them, which doesn't always look good on camera, but I usually take notes and really listen to what they're saying. And so I'm learning from these thought leaders around the globe.
Wow. Is it an arduous task to be consistent with your podcast and deliver content that represents yourself, your brand, your mission, and your purpose?
I mean, of course, it's work. It takes a lot of time. And the best part of it is when you're actually live with somebody. to me, that's the most fun, is when you're with someone, building a relationship. And then there is the administrative side of it all.
Yeah.
Which takes time.
Yeah.
And so I've enlisted my daughter to help me.
Yeah. Meaning editing, writing show notes, sharing social media assets. I mean, if we talk about it, it might become overwhelming if you're just listening. But quite truly, if it is a passion project, if it is in alignment with your purpose and what you love to do, you're never going to work a day in your life.
I'll never work a day in my life.
So that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Your book's amazing. Who knew? Who knew that you would be where you are today as a podcaster, as a communicator, as a purpose-driven leader? You're doing it all. So God bless your father. And wow. And I know the future is bright for you, Jules.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a couple more video clips I want to share. And then there are some other comments that we can get to. But how much longer would you guys like to be on here with me? I think we get closed soon, but I just wanted to share a couple more
Play
things.
us your favorite video. Like, let's just do your favorite video. And it might be a cartoon.
No, I'm going to show this one video.
Okay.
It's one of my guests, Christopher Shern, and he is a broadcaster on the Yes Network. I'm going to share a clip with that, and then we'll end with the podcast commercial, because I want people to see all the amazing guests that have been on the show. And I want to encourage people to listen in, because every week we have some other gem to drop. So here we go.
It's not the adversity that you're going to face. It's how you face the adversity. It's how you see it, do a little Barry Sanders juke move and get around it and get to the next rung on the ladder. You can't let every piece of adversity knock you back 10 spaces. You're not going to succeed that way. You have to hit it head on, you have to deal with it, and you have to get around it. And that's the way you get to your goal.
And there you have it, guys. Do a little Bernie Sanders juke move. Get around it. And don't focus on it. Move forward. Stay on course. That is the bottom line. Life is going to knock you down, and you need to get back up and get back up and get back up again. There will be battles that you face. It's just going to happen. I mean, life, I don't know anybody that's had an easy time like in their whole life. It's not like flowers and raindrops and butterflies all the time. It is sometimes a very hard, arduous journey. But stay on course. Keep up with listening to that good message in your ear. Get positivity dropped into your spirit as much as possible. And, you know, we're here to do life together, guys. We're not here to do life by ourselves. We're here to do it together. Find a mentor, a coach, a community to join, and let's do this together. Any other comments before we end? And I'll play the commercial as we leave.
I love Eric's message. It's such a nice message. Stay on course.
Thank you, Eric. Good to see you. Eric is my friend from one of my jobs.
One of your jobs.
One of my old jobs. Eric is amazing. And is there any other comments in the chat? Oh, look, Amy Vaughn.
Amy?
By the way, wait, I have to tell you about Amy Vaughn, and maybe we should see who else is here. But Amy helped me write my father's book.
Oh, wow.
Amy, this is a big deal. Amy was one of the authors that helped me literally craft my father's story. We sat for hours and days just speaking through the story of my father and all that stuff. So really big shout out to you, Amy. Really appreciate you. And thanks for being here. That's exciting. I need to interview Amy on my podcast.
Amy? Call her.
Call me. Okay. So anything else? Anything else in the comments? Can I see the comments? Am I able to go to them?
Yeah. I think I've been playing all the comments.
Okay, cool.
It was an honor, truly.
Oh, that's great.
It was really amazing. And it was like we really had an experience together, Amy and I, because we experienced my father's story together. And guys, I can tell you, it's like night after night. It was like at least 6 months, maybe more. Amy came over every week and we talked through every story. So if there's anybody that has been through that journey with me, it was Amy.
JP has a question for you. I think this is a great question.
I mean, I think the one thing we can do today to course correct in finding our purpose is just getting real with ourselves. I think a lot of us know what our purpose is. And, you know, there's work that we can do around finding out what that is. And it's sort of coming back to who we are. It's coming back to ourselves and just coming clean. It's like, hey, guys, this is who I am. This is my purpose. This is what I need to be doing. And just having some self-awareness and self-love around the fact that, hey, we might have been pretending to be somebody else our whole lives. You know, we might have been pretending to be somebody that our parents wanted us to be.
Wow.
That we needed to be because we needed to make money. You know, all of those things are true. Like, and they were done out of necessity. So it's not that it's wrong. It's just, where are you going as far as your purpose? Are you on the road? Have you gotten on the road to follow your purpose? Or are you still on somebody else's road? You know, first thing is to get on the road where you need to be and kind of get on there. And, you know, there are a lot of things that you can do to really get clarity on that. I have actually a program that I'm running called, what is it? Discover Your Purpose and Personality. And so that's how I help people do that. But, you know, there's a lot of other ways to do it. And Gary is saying small course corrections early on make a difference down the course. It's true. Getting on that path.
This is amazing. What a great live. What a great tribute to not only Ennio Rigo, your father, but a tribute to you staying on course and actually doing a podcast for a whole year. Wow. And for celebrating those wins, whether they're big or small. And you are actualizing your purpose right now, Julie Riga. You're actualizing it through your voice and your messaging and your ability to serve others. So thank you. It was so fun to be here.
Thank you, Julie and Jessica. Thank you guys for your support. You've been my biggest fans and my kick in the butt when I needed it, by the way, because it's not always easy to do this time after time, but we are keeping going. We are staying on course. And I just encourage everybody today to listen in to the Stay on Course podcast, because there's something in there for everyone in every stage of your existence in your journey. There's something in one of my episodes that will speak to you. So I hope that you watch it, and we will end with this. Thanks, guys. Do you know your life's purpose? Are you guided by a foundation that is rooted in self-awareness? Do you often feel like you're not sure what your ingredients for success are? Well, you're in the right place. My father, Chef Ennio Riga, had a mantra, and it was, if the world falls down on your shoulders, brush it off and keep going your way. Stay on course. My dad was sure of one thing: life will knock you down, but you need to get up and get up and get up again. He used to say 7 times down, 8 times up. The Stay on Course podcast was designed to make your life just a little bit easier, so you could learn from thought leaders across the globe as they share their ingredients and their tools for success. So let's lock arms together and realize our own potential and have the courage to live out our life's purpose. Let's cook it.